everybody. This is Tanika Steens, and I am a mindful coach. And today is Mindful Monday, and I am on with Jen Redding, and she is a quantum breath activator and personal transformation coach. She has over 17 years of experience in breathwork therapy and transformational healing and nonlinear awareness. She specializes in helping professional women who are externally successful but internally feel disconnected and trapped in the cycle of doing to liberate themselves from internal expectations and pressure. How many people feel like that? I know I have, and I'm glad I got to meet her. I'm telling you what. So she became masterful at a new way of deep, authentic being. We're going to learn about that today. Her expertise is in an ability to perceive her clients through her lens of etheric and emotional sensitivity and to see the multitude of possibilities within the quantum field of them. She allows them to provide a different perspective to situations, resonate with her clients at a higher vibrational level, and give voice to their hidden parts of themselves they might have been ignoring. Stop ignoring yourselves. Today we're going to learn how not to ignore ourselves any longer. She has a deep joy to help release the women from an overwhelm of doing and overgiving. Come on, you guys. We know we overdo and overgive because that's what we do. We are nurturers and we don't know how to nurture ourselves. So today, she's going to show us how we can be more free and help ourselves do more for ourselves. So let's give a warm welcome to Jen as she teaches us how to activate our breath. Welcome, Jen. Please tell us more about who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Oh my gosh, Tanika, I am so grateful to be here and talk to the community. Oh my gosh. The last time we talked, we had such a good conversation. It was difficult for us to get off the phone.
I know, right?
I'm so glad to be here with you. It's going to be awesome. So today I actually want to talk to you about emotional overwhelm and give you 3 actions you can start today to quantum leap out of emotional overwhelm and create deep, unwavering self-acceptance. Like, so pivotal and so important. So these tools that I'm going to share with you today will transform your life and guide you to find your authentic way to show up in your life. Because don't we feel like we are constantly meeting everyone else's expectations, right? Doesn't that feel like we're showing up for everyone else and we forget to show up for ourselves?
Yes.
So I want to know, how many times have you said or thought, there's gotta be a better way? Out of frustration, out of disappointment. How many times?
Every day, all day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And for those of you that are listening in Tanika's community, please drop a 1 in the comments. Let us know that that's definitely you and that you're feeling that too. Because that's really where we're going to get to today, is this, there's got to be a better way, right?
Yes.
So you're not alone. You are not alone. And this is a common thought for many, many women. Even myself have moments where this still creeps in, right? I'm just like, there's got to be a better way. And even though you've achieved so much in your life, right? So much, like there's just so much work and effort you have put into your life, and you're seeing all that success around you, but you still feel like you have to struggle to find that easy flow, right? That nice, smooth, it's like free of resistance. Can't really find it just yet, right? You still feel like you're in that struggle. How about you, Tanika? Does that sound like something like?
Yes. Some days I'm just like, okay, I just want to run away. We've got a couple of ones out there. Yes. I'm just like, I wish that my human power was to just be able to disappear sometimes.
We need to get you an invisible. I can't even talk.
Yeah, I want to be invisible. That's my thing. I'm like, if I could just be invisible, that would be my power.
Well, we don't want you to be invisible. You're beautiful, and we want you to be here. So don't be invisible. But I want you to be out of that struggle. I want you to be out of that struggle. So this struggle is layered in emotional overwhelm, right? It's not just one thing. It's not just one emotion. It feels like all of them are coming at you at once. And that's why it feels so overwhelming. This emotional overwhelm can just feel like the world is coming at you, right? It just
Yes.
feels like it's coming at you. And that's why you want to be invisible. You're like, please stop. Don't see me because I can't take anymore.
Yeah.
All right. If you feel this way, you are in the right place because we're going to get to how you can shift out of this today. So, underneath all of those layers are usually expectations, right? A lot of external expectations you have been trying to live up to. And it's worked so far. I mean, it worked for me. I was constantly climbing up the corporate ladder and I was doing really well in my career. And so I achieved amazing things by really just tapping into that. I'm just going to do what everyone tells me to do, right? But at some point, it just doesn't feel like yours anymore. It doesn't feel like you're able to actually be your authentic self and live the life that you want to live. So you just struggle and it just lacks this joy that you crave, right? So you're constantly giving into these expectations with the hopes that it'll relieve this internal struggle and anguish. So Tanika did this awesome job of introducing me, but I just want to tell you a little bit more about myself. So for everyone that's here, I'm Jennifer Redden, and I am a quantum breath activator and personal transformation mentor. It is my deepest joy to help release professional women from the overwhelm of overdoing and overgiving so they can feel free to be themselves without having to do more. Because don't we all just need less on our plate? Seriously.
Absolutely.
Don't we all just need less on our plate? And that's where we get stuck, right? We feel like we have to do more. We have to constantly be doing more. And a lot of that doing more comes from that internal friction we feel inside of us.
Yeah.
We think the doing is going to alleviate, right?
Yeah.
Because we have that internal friction. It's creating this energy and we want it to go away, right? We want it to go away. So if I do more, it'll go away. And your struggle doesn't come from serving others. It
Absolutely.
actually not enjoying it. And I believe that it is possible to achieve anything at the same time while liberating yourself from the cycle of overdoing. Yeah. You can do it. You can achieve greatness without having to do more. Yeah. And it is your ability to consistently achieve so much because you have a desire to serve and you have a desire to show other women what is possible when you expand outside of your comfort zone.
Yes. Now, I have a client that feels guilty if she's not doing, and it bothers her. And I try to explain to her, I'm like, you are constantly doing that. You are running yourself ragged, and she's exhausted. And I'm like, you don't ever take time for yourself. And she feels like I can't take time for myself. And that's what we've been working on. And I'm like, you have to take time for yourself because you're so busy and you won't let anyone help you because you think you have to do it all. That's who we're speaking to today. Yeah. Those are the people that I'm working with. And that's why you're here today. Those are who we are speaking to. Those people that don't have the time for self-care, that feel guilty and that have that shame. And we've been talking about too, the shame, guilt of not being able to say, no, I need to take a time out for me.
Yep. And you're absolutely right. And so much of that guilt is just grounded in this inability to truly allow herself to feel. Mm-hmm. She stopped for 2 seconds to give something to herself. She would just feel overcome with emotion because scared of what's going to come out if she sits down. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I love that you bring this up because one of my clients had a really difficult time. Like when she was in the vehicle, she was like, I'm either on the phone listening to a podcast, listening to music, or talking to my son. She's like, I'm never in the car by myself. By time she finished the program, she's like, the best thing is driving down the road with absolutely nothing. She's like, I can sit in the vehicle all by myself and it's beautiful. Yeah. So, and that's a simple thing. Can your client find that space, even driving in a vehicle?
Yeah, it's hard. And we've practiced that. And I'm like, I need you to practice to do nothing. And it's hard. I'm like, I need you to do this. And it's like, we're getting there, but it's a challenge, and that's what we need to speak to. And the reason why I know this client is because I was that client. I know what that looks like, and it's easy to say it after you've been there, but going through it, it's hard to see the outcome of it. And so you think that this is something that you're never going to get through, but we know that there is an end.
There is an end, and there's small things you can do every day. There's small things that you can do every day. So and that's what I love to share, and that's why I'm here, is to share these things with you, with your community, because it's important that we all find something that works for us.
Before you do, can you explain, because we know quantum is something that is this big word and this theory. And so when people hear things that are new to them, that's even more overwhelming and scary. And it's like, okay, what am I getting into? What are you talking about? And we know it's a leap. It's a jump. It's something that we are going to another level, another vibration. So how do we help people understand how to move themselves into another realm of thinking, and help them to be at peace with knowing this is something that is good for them, and not something that is going to make them even more overwhelmed, but help them to be more relaxed and entering into a new, I'm going to say, a dimension of their life.
Oh my gosh. So and actually I'm gonna tell you what the 3 steps are. So the first thing is, and when I talk about quantum, for me, the quantum is the field of possibilities. It's the ability to tap into the quantum field of creation. It's wholeness, it's oneness, it's everything and nothing at the same time. So you can create in the quantum, and then you have to create structure to make what you create in the quantum a reality. And that's the 3 things that I do with my clients: is we activate, we breathe, and we create. So we activate the possibilities within the quantum field, which can be relief from the overgiving, relief from the constant doing. And then we breathe through it. So we unravel all of that emotional overwhelm and clutter that's stuck in the body through the breath. And then we recreate a new pattern. I do that with every single step and every single client. Is we activate, we breathe, and we create. And it's every time we meet, it's just this thing of coming to who you are right now, meeting yourself where you're at, and me meeting you there, and then me giving you this ability to leap and then come back and land in this full self-acceptance. Because you cannot leap, you cannot quantum leap, you cannot expand, whatever term you want to use, without having self-acceptance. So that is the very first thing that I do with my clients. We work on self-acceptance.
Absolutely.
It's a big part, because if you have to be able to embrace who you are right now, fully embrace her, love all the pieces that are hurting, all the pieces that are dreaming, all the times that you didn't let yourself dream because you didn't think you were worthy. And so self-acceptance is key, and you have to embrace who you are. And this is one of the things that you and I talked about in our call, was expanding and contraction. And when we leap, that's the expansion, right? We go out, we find the possibilities, we create something new, our reality changes, and then we come back and we have this contraction period. And that's where you have to really, really love yourself and accept who you are in every part of your life. And sometimes that's difficult because we have a lot of shame wrapped around that. But
you are absolutely right.
Do this work. We get to do this work. We are here to experience this. Every single bit of it. I got a message today from somebody on one of those things. Instagram, Facebook, whatever they are. One of those things. And we were kind of chatting, and she just said, "Yeah, I'm really just in the thick of it right now." And I just was like, "Yeah, that's it. The thickness doesn't go away. The thickness of life doesn't go away. The thickness of being a human doesn't go away. You just get better at becoming less dense.
Yes. Yes.
You just get better at it. And the more you allow yourself to be good at the contractions, to be good at the thickness, then when things are light, it's like you're just going with the breeze like a leaf, right?
That's it. That's it. That's absolutely it. It's so funny because I just, I have these moments and things come to me and I'm like, oh, I gotta say something. And so then I'll start recording. I'm like, I gotta go live and say something about this. And so I was thinking, I'm like, we're always gonna be who we are. We just have to control who we are in those moments because when things are good, we're like excited and we're happy. But then 2 seconds later, something bad can happen. Well, what happened to you just a minute ago? You were happy. You're still that same person that you were when you were happy. But now something happened and you don't think that you're still that person that you were a second ago. You just got to handle the situation. And whatever joy you had 2 seconds ago, that joy's still there, you know. But you've got to understand that situations happen and you can pick right back up. But we cannot continue to allow ourselves to be consumed by things that are going to happen. And then we keep getting bogged down and bogged down and bogged down. And before you know it, you become that thing that, well, what happened to your joy? Well, the joy's still there because once those things start going away and then they start going away and you start learning how to deal with them, that same joy that you thought you lost is still there until the next thing happens. And and it starts piling up. And I'm like, it's just like a house. If you don't ever clean it and it keeps getting dirty and piling up and piling up and piling up, well, once you clean it and all the junk comes out of it, the same house is still there. Just the junk is gone. So we have to look at ourselves that way and realize that we can't let things pile up on us and consume us. We've just got to control them and handle those situations. Now, it does get tough and it does get thick, but we were built to create and to control. And like you said, everything is a thought in our head. It's what we do with that thought. Mm-hmm. Are we going to let it consume us? Or are we going to take something with that thought and create something beautiful out of it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just, we get to become that person with joy, and we get to choose to be that person. You're never going to be able to control the external circumstances. Mm-hmm. It's never going to happen. Things are going to happen. There doesn't have to be meaning behind how they happen or any of that, but things are going to happen. So the only thing that you have control over is who you are being and who you want to become. Absolutely. If you want to become that person that's full of joy and lives a life of freedom, find a way to do it right now. Find your joy right now.
Yeah. Because it's not coming tomorrow.
Well, and the thing is that most likely, and this is when I talk about being good at contraction, is you probably were really happy. Something really, really, really good happened, right? Let's just say you won $1,000. That sounds like amazing to me, right? Or any dollar amount that just sounds beautiful. You won it. It came into your account, right? You were joyful. You were excited. You were happy. That's expansion. You just expanded. You started thinking about all the possibilities, what you can buy, what you can do. And then I guarantee you those creepy thoughts of, why did I receive this? Somebody's going to come take it from me. I'm not really, and it's all buried under this, I'm not worthy to receive it, right? I'm going to have to pay taxes on this. Like, you start thinking of all the little nitpicky things that you've buried your joy under that's telling you, no, you can't be joyful. You can't have this. You can never receive without having to give. And you know there's strings attached, right? So you just took that joy, that beautiful expansion moment, and you had a contraction moment. And this is when you get good at it because you become the observer. You go, oh, wait, I'm not that person. Or I choose not to be that person. I will listen to her. I will hear what she has to say because I value her. And this is self acceptance. I value that part of me. I value the part of me that's scared right now, that doesn't believe that I'm worthy of receiving this money. I value and love her to pieces, and I know she is just trying to keep me safe because she is just rooted in fear and lack. But I love her and I love her and I love her to with all of my heart and all of my being. And I'm going to bring her along this on this ride. And we're going to accept this money because we deserve it and we are worthy of it. That's what self-acceptance is. It takes
Mhm.
practice and commitment. It is you repeatedly choosing you
Yes.
over and over and over again. And not the you that's buried under expectations that you've hid away, that you've chosen to not listen to, but the you that knows that you're meant for something bigger, the you that wants to give back so badly because you are rooted in service and excellence.
Yes. Jen, where does this behavior come from? Where do we pick it up? Where do we learn this?
It's just it comes from expectations. We learn it from our parents, we learn it from our grandparents, we learn it's just it can be very generational because our parents didn't know the stuff we know.
Mhm.
They weren't exposed to this mindset stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't know. They truly, I mean, my mother, it was you work and then you retire. You don't do what you love. Or maybe you do what you love in the beginning, but then at some point you're just burnt out and it sucks and you hate it and it's just a job. So
Mhm.
you don't love what you do.
You
But
know, I want to share this because I think that so many people get it backwards. And I know I'm probably maybe going to catch some backlash, but it's my show. I don't care. People probably would say, I'm spoiled or my kids are spoiled or whatever. You're probably spoiled too because of our mind frame and the mindset that we have. But see, I believe that you should do what you love and you should love what you do. And I remember when I was younger, my grandfather used to have a problem with me. I was the favorite and they loved me and they just always used to tell me I was going to do great things. I guess what? I believed it cuz that's what they told me. Why would I think that they were lying to me? They told me I could do great things, so I believed that I could do great things, right? And I never doubted that I could do great things because this is what they told me. So one day, my grandpa told me I wouldn't get a job counting money. And I took me a long time to understand what he was talking about. He's like, man, you're just so rebellious and you just won't listen and you're hard headed. You wouldn't get a job counting money. And all I thought to myself is, why would I need a job counting money when I could hire somebody to do that? why would I count money when don't people do that? I'm just saying. And so, but I mean, anything that I put my mind to, I'm like, I can do that if I want to do it. And he's like, he told me this though, and I'm going to share this with you. He said, I said, well, when I grow up, I'm going to own my own business and I'm going to hire people and I'm going to give them opportunities. And Jen, he told me this. He said, Sneeka, you are a Black girl and you will always work for a white man. And I said, excuse me, my grandfather was a Black man that had an 8th grade education. He worked for General Motors and he ran a pool room. He died at 72 years old. He was a good man and I loved him, but he was wrong. That is a lie. The last time I worked for a white man was in 2018. I will never work for another man again as long as I live, except for Jesus Christ. Anyways, I run my own business and I count my own money. And so, so I mean, I wish he was still alive because I understand what he means when he says that. But That's not true. He probably never believed that we have a black president. He probably never believed that we'd have a woman black vice president. But I'm saying all of that because, the way of thinking has changed, because in his day, he's probably right. That probably wouldn't have happened. There probably wouldn't have been women running anything. But now we have a voice, and now we have opportunities, and now and it's not the fact that I want to run the world at all. That's not the case. But I do have an opportunity to run my own business. I do have an opportunity to speak up, and I do have an opportunity to have a family, and to raise my children in the way that I want to raise them. And I have a house full of girls, and I want them to be strong and independent, but I want them to have a family, and I want them to go to college. I want them to do things, but I don't want them to have to work hard, and I don't want them to have to suffer, and I don't want them to have to bow down to anybody, because that's not the way of life that I want them to have. And so people can think whatever they want to think, but I want them to have a positive mind thing, to know that they can do anything that they put their minds to, and that they're good enough and capable enough to achieve anything. I have one that has got straight A's that is about to go to college. There was a day and time when black girls couldn't go to college, and because they thought they weren't good enough, a couple of years ago, they didn't think that they were good enough because of how they looked or their hair or things like that, because of a mind frame and a mindset of what they've been told. And this is all learned behavior, like you said, from generations. And so for people to say that you have to go through things, or you have to suffer, or that's a lie. And that is why we have anxiety and depression and mental illness and all of these things. And in the minority community, it's not even really talked about. It's not. And that's the thing, that we have to stop thinking that we have to live in the past and live like our grandparents or our parents, because we want a better future for our children. We want a better world for our lineages to come, because we've got to make it a better place so that the world can keep evolving. Because if we keep living like we lived 40, 50, 60 years ago, the world is going to be over sooner than later, right? And so we have to quantum leap, and we have to think forward and change our mind frame and transform and be renewed, because that's what it's all about.
It's about us. So the way I view yourself and myself is we're the way showers, the way showers of a new way of being, not just in how we live and people thinking that we're necessarily spoiled, but we live in our highest joy by serving. But it all starts with, we learn to accept ourselves.
Yes.
We learn to accept those creepy thoughts that creeped in, and we learn to acknowledge that they're a part of us. And then we say, okay, I see you. And now we get to change.
Mm-hmm.
Because the patterns of generations are also in our head. We've created our own patterns, right? From our own wounds of fear of being seen, fear of speaking up, fear of being who you truly authentically are. And those wounds allow us to just be stuffed in a box of other people's expectations.
Mm-hmm.
You and I stepping up, we get to say, I am a way shower. I'm going to show you a new way. And I'm not going to show you my way, because my way may not work for you. I'm going to show you a new, authentic way that you get to create.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because everybody has their own way of doing things. And that's the thing about, if you share an idea with someone and they say, oh, nobody's going to buy that. Well, maybe you might not buy it, but there's somebody out there that'll like it. Everybody doesn't like chocolate ice cream, but look how many different flavors there is. I mean, seriously.
Right. So there's so many different ways. And so, I love where we headed, because this is exactly my step number one that I was going to share with you tonight. And that is, activating your awareness. I told you, like, my first thing is we activate. So we're going to activate that awareness. So anytime you hear yourself thinking, oh my God, there's got to be a better way, right? There's that fear, that frustration, that disappointment, whatever. And you're just feeling that emotional overwhelm. You're like, oh my God, there's got to be a better way. I want you to stop immediately. Stop. Now, you're going to say, what if I'm driving down the road, Jennifer? And I'll be like, okay. So what you do is when you stop, you're just recognizing. You're activating your awareness. Oh, wait. And I always tell people, do something physical, and make a noise, whether you just say, wow, that's really interesting that you just had that thought, or you snap your fingers or you clap your hands. Do physical sound and acknowledgement that you just had that thought. And then the moment you have that thought, you're going to ask yourself one of the 3 following questions. Which part of me feels ignored? Which or whose expectations am I trying to live up to? Which emotion feels most overwhelming right now? Pick one. Or if you have the time and space, work through all 3. But in that moment, at least pick one of those questions. And this is activating your awareness. This is you giving a voice to that part of you that you're ignoring, which is why she feels overwhelmed. And then here's the thing. Like we were talking about receiving, we think about receiving as a physical thing, but are you allowing yourself to receive the answers? So give yourself space to hear the answer. Not allowing yourself to listen fully can continue this cycle of emotional overwhelm because you're still not giving a voice to the part of you that wants to be heard.
Okay.
So actually allow yourself to receive the answer. Allow yourself to receive the answer. You may not like the answer, and that's completely different than not receiving the answer.
Mm-hmm. All right. That's good.
Yeah. All right.
That's good. That's good.
All right. So we're here to do a little bit of breathing. I'm going to walk you through this and then we'll do the exercise together. How about that? Sound good?
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. So this one is all about breathing love into yourself. So you acknowledge you just had this thought. You came back with an answer. And now you just get to connect with all the possibilities. This is your opportunity to really feel safe in your body, right? Now that you heard that part you're ignoring, now you get to actually acknowledge her and feel safe. So you don't just go off willy-nilly overdoing because you feel uncomfortable, right? So the first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to walk you through it and then we'll come back and we'll do it together. So you're going to find a nice, comfortable seat. You're going to close your eyes. You're going to place one hand on your belly, the other one on your heart. And you're just going to connect with your breath. Let yourself ride the wave. And then after the 3rd or 4th breath, you're gently going to ask, what do I need to do to care for myself? We're going to stay here for 3 to 5 minutes. And you can repeat that question as much as you need to. What do I need to do to care for myself? Finding the inhale, softening your belly, trying to release that lower back so you can actually feel safe in your body. What do I need to do to care for myself? Nicely done. Feeling the inhales and the exhales. Allowing yourself to receive on the inhale and release on the exhale. Nicely done. Can you feel the softening of your shoulders with each exhale? Now go ahead and release your hands down to your side. Allow yourself to just sit in this moment, bask in this feeling. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, come back. How do you feel?
I feel great because I don't ever get to enjoy the meditations. I always get to deliver them, but I don't get to receive them. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That was awesome. I feel warm inside.
Oh, such a good feeling, isn't it?
It is. It is so good.
Minutes. That was 3 minutes.
Yeah, and it seems like way longer, but people don't understand that that's all you need. You don't need a long time, but it seems like my. You know what? That is so funny. My husband says, "I feel good too." He's watching. He's like, "I feel good too." He just sent a message. Now it's so funny because my father-in-law watches too, and they both have the same name. And so I was just looked, and I was going to say, "Well, my father-in-law says he feels good," but I had to look again. It's my husband. He said his shoulders feels relaxed, and his back has been bothering him. So that's good. I'm glad your shoulders feel relaxed.
There you go. I am too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I feel real good because, like I said, I don't ever. I told him the other day. I said we run around so much. We don't ever just get a break because it's always something, you know. And so I was like I told you, I was glad that you were coming on today, and I didn't even know we were going to get this goodie. So I'm excited. I'm thankful that you were here, and I told you it was all about breath work today, anyways. So I'm just glad that you came and that you shared this with us, and that I hope other people are out there too that are taking in this, because people don't understand how important it is. And you can, if you come to a stop sign or if you come to a stoplight, you can just take a second, 3 minutes, 3 seconds, just take it, just pause for a minute and just breathe. It's no right or wrong way to do it. Just breathe. You owe it to yourself. Just focus on your breath and it will relax you, because most of the time you see people, they're so tense. They walk around and they're tensed up because you just don't ever know what's going to happen next. You're waiting for something to happen, you know? And if you just breathe and you start to feel your shoulders relax, you're like, oh man, it feels like a load has been taken off. And so, Jen, how do people work with you? How do they get connected to you?
So I wanted to just give 2 more little tips because they keep coming through loud and clear that I need to
Okay,
share.
Hey, this is your time. Whatever time you need, take it.
So we just did 3 minutes. That is a typical length of a song. So if you have a song that, and I would say one without words, like something that's instrumental, that you enjoy that's right around 3 minutes, you can play that song and use that as your guide of your timer. So there's no like crazy noise that goes off. You're just like at the end of the song, you just come back. And the time, one of my favorite times to tell people to do this is before they go into the grocery store or some sort of like errand like that. Like you're sitting in the car before you go in, just give yourself the 3 minutes before you go in. And then, I mean, how can you just going through the grocery store and feeling that calm? I mean, that's a pretty nice experience.
Yeah.
But that's a way
I get
to
anxiety sometimes going in.
Yeah, sometimes just catching yourself in those small moments instead of making it a big deal. You can be like, no, I'll do this right before I go into the store. So those are the two things that were coming through that I just really wanted to like give as far as like small tips that you can incorporate this into your day and really just give that to yourself. So I actually have two options right now. There is, I have a free masterclass coming up in August. It is called Soul Mining, Unearthing your emotional triggers so you can create balance in your life. It's free. It's going to be August 17th and August 18th. It's an hour each day. I can give you the link and we can add it to the comments or however.
Okay. And I'll put it on the website too. So yeah.
Okay. And it really is just that whole masterclass is really going to be, how do you unearth your emotional triggers? How do you shift out of them so you can actually, release them and then create balance? So you're not constantly in this state of like chaos. And then the other way is I have a 6-month program. It's called the Quantum Breath Experience. And if you want, you can set up a free consultation call, which is actually the possibility activation. And what we do on that call, even if we decide not to work together, you will get to, in that 60 minutes, you'll be able to recognize one pattern or cycle of self-betrayal that you're currently committing. And then we're going to create a new pathway of a new possibility in that 60 minutes. So even if we choose not to work together, you can still have that 60 minutes as kind of like that opportunity to activate your possibilities of what your life could really look like when you shift out of these cycles of self-betrayal. So those are the two opportunities that I have available right now for people to work with me.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I mean, this has really been a blessing today to have you on to talk about this, because this year has been rough on everybody. And I'm telling you what, we all need to take a moment and just breathe. If we don't have anything in this world, we have our breath. That's the one thing until we leave here that no one can take from us. It's ours, right? It belongs to us.
So we should use it to the best of our ability.
Absolutely take advantage of just breathing and enjoying your breath. And so, Jen, I thank you so much for taking the time out and just giving us your expertise in how to activate. And I looked at the activate, breathe, and create, and it's just the ABCs of life right there, right?
And I never even realized that it is the ABCs. Holy mackerel. That's awesome. I didn't even know.
There you go. So there's a whole new campaign for you. It's the ABCs of life. I mean, it's the basics right there. Get back to the basics. It's that simple. It saves your life. Get activated by breathing. Start creating what's right there inside of you. All the possibilities right before you, right? So, I mean, I thank you. What is it before you leave? Anything else? Any tip? Anything that you want to just a word of wisdom that you'd like to leave with the people before you jump off of here?
I think I dropped some pretty good
wisdom. You did. I mean, you did. But I mean, as far as just a wisdom, just any like thing that has stuck with you that you just might want to say. Because I think you gave us some great things. So
we all get to live this life. We all get to live this life. You get to choose how much joy and freedom you create in your own life. And you get to live authentically. You get to be authentically you at your soul level. And that is probably the biggest thing I want people to know, because my why is showing you that there is a way to live your life of freedom and joy without the internal struggle and anguish. There is.
Yes.
Doesn't mean every day is going to be rainbow and sunshine, but it means that you get to choose and make that choice consciously.
You get to choose. Nobody else. That's it. And that's all. So you heard it, people. You get to choose. You. I tell my daughters that all the time. I don't care what happens in this life. There might be circumstances. There might be situations, but you're not the circumstance or the situation. You're the outcome. You determine the outcome by the choices that you make. You get to choose. And so at the end of the day, make the choice. Whatever it is, it's yours. So thank you so much for lending your time and your expertise. This has been Monday Mindfulness, and I am going to be more mindful every day. I practice mindfulness and I teach mindfulness, but just being more and more aware of it. You got to practice what you preach. You can't be teaching people and telling people things if you don't put it into practice first. And you can't be telling people if you're not doing. So be a doer of the words that you say. Do it, people. Do it. That's the best way to lead by example, is being a doer. Because you can't tell people to do things and you're not doing them too. So that's called a hypocrite. So join me tonight at 10:35, where we will be doing some more mindfulness. So it's Monday mindfulness all day long, and we will do Monday night mindfulness with a Monday meditation. And I just thank you so much, Jen. It has been so great just getting to know you, and just you have a really great spirit. And I know that you love serving and teaching people how to be better versions of themselves. And so today I have learned to constantly, let me see what I wrote here. It says, constantly meeting yourself where you're at. Constantly meeting yourself where you're at and accepting yourself for who you are. Quantum fields of possibilities are out there. So in order to activate, you have to stop and breathe and then create. You can leap with self-acceptance, embrace who you are and expand, contract and accept who you are, stop, recognize, and be aware, and give full acknowledge to yourself. So do those things, people. Put them into practice. But if you can't do them on your own, there's a young lady sitting right here in front of you. Her name is Jen, and she is going to give me all the links that you can reach her and get in touch with her, because she is thebomb.com and she knows what she's talking about. She can get you activated and ignited. So if you don't know your ABCs, it's time for you to learn them. Activate, breathe, and create. Go ahead, people. You know what it is. You were created with a purpose, so you might as well be great. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again next time. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Jen, hang out with me for just a minute. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, husband, for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody else that was watching that I can't see, but I'll give you the comment in the comment sections. We'll leave the links and everything, and it'll be on the website as well. And give me just a minute, and